In the spring of 1974, a severe drought gripped China's Shanxi province. Desperate for water, a group of local farmers began digging a well into a piece of barren wasteland, hoping to reach a dropping water table just to survive the season. The work was punishing. Digging through layers of baked red dirt and remnants of ancient charcoal, they reached a depth of roughly 13 feet. There, farmer Yang Zhifa swung his heavy metal hoe, expecting to strike bedrock or groundwater. Instead, he hit something hollow. Brushing away the heavy red soil, the farmers found a life-sized sculpted clay face staring right back up at them. A localized attempt to find a few buckets of water had pierced the roof of a subterranean empire that had sat in absolute darkness for 2 millennia. The farmers had no context for what they were looking at. Yang Zhifa initially assumed the hollow clay head was an old water jar, while other villagers speculated they had unearthed a local pottery god. Unaware of the historical value, the village reacted casually. Broken fragments of clay limbs and armor were tossed into the fields. Children dragged pieces home to use as toys, and the ancient bronze arrowheads scattered in the dirt were gathered up and sold to a local commercial recycling agency as scrap metal. These modern farmers were unwittingly dismantling the outer defenses of a massive, meticulously organized ghost army. News of the strange pottery eventually trickled out to a local cultural center and reached a self-taught archaeologist named Zhao Kongmin. Recognizing the potential scale of the find, Zhao rushed to the village, halted the digging, and painstakingly collected every scrap of clay he could find, down to fragments the size of a human fingernail. Zhao carted the pieces back to his local museum to begin reconstruction. But he had to do it in absolute secrecy. This was the height of the Cultural Revolution. Across China, state-sanctioned youth militias known as the Red Guards were actively destroying historical monuments, temples, and ancient artifacts to eradicate old customs and beliefs. If the Red Guards discovered Zhao was preserving a relic of the imperial past, the artifacts, and likely Zhao himself, would have been targeted. Working quietly out of public view, Zhao successfully glued the shattered fragments back together, resurrecting the first fully armored, life-size terracotta soldier. Despite his caution, a journalist visiting the area learned of the restored statue and published an internal report that leaked to Beijing. The central government immediately recognized the magnitude of the discovery, dispatching an official archaeological team to transform the rural well site into a massive, state-backed excavation. Zhao's identification of the fragments as Qin dynasty warriors shifted the project from a local salvage operation to a national survey. This formal mapping of the surrounding fields eventually confirmed that the farmer's well had struck the easternmost edge of a single vault containing 6,000 soldiers, only one component of a much larger sprawling complex. To understand exactly whose army this is, we have to go back to 246 BCE and look at the reign of Qin Shi Huang. He was a ruthless, brilliant tactician who conquered 6 warring states to become the very first emperor of a unified China. He was also obsessed with death. Upon taking the throne at age 13, Qin Shi Huang spent the next 37 years of his life constructing a sprawling underground domain so he could continue his reign in the afterlife. The required labor was staggering. Historical records indicate he conscripted 700,000 workers to hollow out the earth and build a 21-square-mile necropolis. Today, excavations estimate this outer perimeter holds around 8,000 soldiers, complete with chariots and clay horses, and they were crafted with obsessive military precision. Organized strictly by rank and formation, no 2 statues in the entire army share the exact same facial features. Furthermore, these figures were never meant to be the uniform brown clay we see today. They were originally coated in highly pigmented, vibrant colors to mimic human skin tones, leather armor, and silk fabric. As detailed in academic texts analyzing the chemical composition of the statues, the artisans achieved this realism by applying a base coat of an organic binding agent called qi lacquer. Derived from the sap of the lacquer tree, it provided a smooth canvas for the colored pigments to adhere to. This entire complex operates as a hyper-realistic, chemically engineered military force, designed with exhaustive logistical detail to allow one man to conquer death itself. Fast forward to the present day, and that initial accidental discovery has become a UNESCO World Heritage Site, drawing millions of global tourists to view the excavated pits and restored soldiers. Yet 50 years after the first shovel hit the dirt, the massive earthen mound containing Emperor Qin Shi Huang's actual burial chamber has never been opened. This is a deliberate choice. The Chinese government and global archaeological bodies know that breaking the seal on the central tomb would trigger immediate, catastrophic environmental degradation. The ancient qi lacquer used on the artifacts survives in the damp, dark soil, but the moment it is exposed to dry, modern air, the moisture evaporates. Within minutes, the lacquer will curl and flake off, destroying the vibrant paint layer before archaeologists can even record it. Archaeologists today wait for a technological breakthrough that can stabilize organic materials in real time, because current methods cannot stop the atmosphere from stripping the tomb of its remaining information. There is a second, far more lethal barrier. According to the ancient historian Sima Qian, the emperor's burial chamber was rigged with mechanical crossbow booby traps and surrounded by literal, flowing rivers of highly toxic liquid mercury. This animated diagram illustrates recent topographical readings of the burial mound. Glowing red zones map extreme concentrations of mercury in the soil. These readings prove the ancient warnings accurate. The emperor engineered a hostile environment, and those toxic defenses still actively guard his body today. Qin Shi Huang built a toxic hidden complex designed to remain undisturbed forever. It took a single shovel hitting a clay face in 1974 to turn that private quest for immortality into a global legacy.